So let's review what we've just done. First, SIP array. It is the addressing scheme used to locate a SIP entity. In its simplest term, think of it as an email address of a person or entity. In fact, the format of SIP array is similar to that of email address. For example, SIP raka@siptelco.com is a valid SIP array. Here's a template of a SIP array. Well, in the example that we just saw, the SIP array that we typed doesn't have the user part. That's because the notion of user is not relevant. And that's still valid in our case. Back to the Wireshark. Let's analyze what's going on at the network protocol level. What you see here in this pane is the list of data coming in and out from this IP, 103. They're already parsed according to their respective network protocols. You can see on the second pane here the detail of the message. Here, for example, it's common to data in any network protocol is the source and destination. But if you go down here, you get protocol specific information. Let's just gloss over some of the headers of a SIP message here. For an authoritative information, I suggest that you read the SIP protocol specification. That's RFC 3261. And also a good book on this topic titled Internet Multimedia Communications Using SIP. That's from Rogelio Martinez Perea. Okay, the from header here is it indicates the logical identity of the initiator of the request. That's like an email address. When you're telling someone your email address, you'd say your name at yourcompany.com, not your name at the IP of Exchange server at your company something. It's the logical identifier. And here, it's the to header. It indicates the logical identity of the destination of the request. The semantic is similar to that of from header. And next, it's the contact header. This field is generated by the user agent that generates the message. It provides a SIP array that can be used to contact that specific instance of the user agent for subsequent requests. As opposed to the from and the to header, the value of this contact header is the physical information. Well, the best way to think of it is the following. Picture a situation where the person you're calling have various devices for receiving calls, be it a desk phone at the office, the phone at his house, his mobile phone, instant messenger, etc. But you don't care. You just want to reach him anywhere in any of those devices. So you address him using his logical identity, like the one in the to header. Now, let's suppose he picks up the call on his mobile phone. In that case, in the response that you receive, you will be informed about the IP address and optionally the port of his mobile phone. That's in the contact header in the response. Next, the via header here. It indicates the checkpoint the message went through before reaching the ultimate recipient. There can be several via headers in a single SIP message. It is added to the request at each checkpoint, and together they form the route information. This is used when sending a response to a request, so that the response follows the same path as the request, only in a reverse order. Okay, that's the basic headers. Let's have a look at the message body. Here, in this invite request, the message body contains information about the media for the communication. Here, the user agent of the calling party is saying, I can send and receive media encoded in any of the following format. And here, there's a connection information. It identifies the location, IP address and port, where the originator of this invite expects to receive the media packets. Additionally, it also specifies the type of media it is willing to accept here in the media description. Now let's move on to the second message. Here you can see the direction is reverse. It is like the acknowledgement from the callee that the invite has been accepted, and it's trying to, act on it. And the third message, it's also a response. It's telling the caller that the callee's user agent is ringing. Well, there's a second invite here. Well, because it took so long before the callee answers the call, so the caller sends another invite. It's just like a retransmission. Let's just ignore it for now. And finally, here, the callee picks up the call, and an OK response is sent back to the caller. What's interesting to note here is the message body. It also contains media information. It is telling that the callee expects to receive media packets on this IP. It's basically the same as the one we saw in the invite from the caller here. The only difference currently is the amount of media attributes lines. Here in the invite you see there are several more, and the OK there's only like 1 or 2 here. Well, the way to understand it is the one in the invite message is like the all available that you can choose from, and here in the OK response it's the the subset of it that will be finally used in the session. And finally there's the acknowledgement, and at that point the conversation is already established. Okay, let me remove the filter to see what happened after the session is established. You see here, there are RTP messages being exchanged. RTP, real-time protocols. That's the protocol used for transporting the media. We are not going to analyze. We just want to take a quick look what's in there. It's the voice data. Okay, now let's just go back to the SIP messages. After a while, somebody have had enough with the conversation, so he sends a buy request. The content is like this. Well, nothing. It says very simple message. And then the buy is answered by OK, and at that point, yeah, there's no more session. It's already chilled down. Yeah, it goes bound, chicka wow wow, baby come to mama.